Hey guys, Bomber the Kid here, back again. How's everybody doing? And today on the opinion spot, guys, I'm finally doing this project that I had it postponed for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, and then I finally was like, you know what? Let's finish it and get it out there, just so people can see it and understand where I'm coming from and things like that. My fellow geeks out there. So, as you guys know, I love a good team. I love a good team comic. I love a good team book. I love just a good team in general. And in the history of comics, as of right now, and even in the past, there have been a lot of teams. Some have been short-lived, some have lasted the test of time since they first appeared up until now. There have been different variations, but that is still the team. Correct. So here, guys, today I'm giving you my top 10 all-time favorite teams, comic book teams in comic books. Okay, so sit back, relax, enjoy. Be respectful. This is my list. If you have your own, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below. That's what the opinion spot is for. But with that being said, let's kick it off. And we're going to kick it off with number 10 on the list, and that's the Wildcats. Yeah, guys, I'm a huge fan of the Wildcats. This was Jim Lee and Brandon Choi's creation back in 1992. They created this team under Image, and of course this spawned the Wildstorm universe. Unfortunately, now there is no more Wildstorm universe. Technically, they all are now connected under one roof, and that's DC. But the Wildcats was a really good franchise that had very cool characters. From one of my favorites, Zellick. She was my favorite, and then of course Maul. You know, he can get really big, and Voodoo and Spartan, and they were and of course the team changed after a while. They actually teamed up, crossed over with the Justice League at one point. I have that comic. Grifter was also another one of my favorites. Before, once again, everything was under the same roof. Wildcats was one of the few, I guess you could say, few independent comic characters to have a successful cartoon series. Besides them, of course, independent meaning, Ninja Turtles definitely, and Savage Dragon, things like that. But yeah, Wildcats, I still to this day love the Wildcats. I would love to see a reformation of the team sometime in the future. Mr. Lee, please, I'd love it. Come on. Next on the list is the Birds of Prey. I am a huge Birds of Prey fan, and the first time I read the Birds of Prey, I think I was 13 when I first read them. I like this all-female team. There have been different incarnations where there have been males on the team. But I always loved Birds of Prey. Especially the trinity of the team: Canary, Babs, Oracle, and Helena Bertinelli, aka Huntress. And of course there have been other incarnations. Big Barda has been a part of the team. Hawk and Dove has been a part of the team. Lady Blackhawk's been a part of the team. There have been even Poison Ivy has been a part of the team. Even Kitana has been a part of the team. My favorite run of Birds of Prey is probably Gail Simone's. I'm not gonna lie, Gail did a very good job writing them. But yeah, I'm a big Birds of Prey fan, and it did kind of hurt me a lot when that movie came out. I have nothing against the actors that got to play the characters, but I just felt like this is a Harley Quinn movie, not a Birds of Prey movie. That's my biggest problem with it. Is like too much focus on Harley, not enough on the birds. And that TV series was garbage too. Next on the list, of course, is the Teen Titans. Yes. I'm a huge Teen Titans fan. I love the Teen Titans. Basically, you take the sidekicks of many of the classic DC heroes, Robin, your Speedies, your Aqualads, your Wonder Girls, people like that, put them together as a team, and you get a team of young heroes that are markedly the future of the Justice League. Now, the first run of the Teen Titans didn't go over too well, but when Marv Wolfman and George Perez, and I'm saluting them too because that's the Teen Titans that I grew up with, came along, gave us magic. Robin, Dick Grayson, grew up, one of the most highly developed characters in comic history, grew up, became a man, changed from being Robin, now he's Nightwing. The storytelling between the characters from, of course, one of the most famous quintessential Teen Titans story arcs, the Judas Contract. Just seeing how that played out. What I love about the Titans is they're not just friends, or they really feel like they're an extension of family, of an extended family. They back each other up. They're there for each other. You know, when one's down, the other's there to pick them up. When one is having trouble, they're there by their side. Look at Raven. Raven is a good example of that. Raven dealt with this knowing that she is the daughter of a demonic demon, and we've seen the Titans really still embrace her as, we still love you and we're still going to be there for you no matter what, Raven. You know, the chemistry between the likes of Wonder Girl or Donna Troy and, you know, Corey Starfire is brilliant. It's amazing. The Titans are still going to this day. It's a new incarnation. I still respect the Titans. I don't read it as of right anymore, but I still respect them. The last best run for me in terms of Titans was probably Jeff Johns' run. I thought he did a good job with that. You know, when Static came a part of the team, Blue Beetle, Cassandra Sandsmart, and I love their dynamic between him, Tim, Connor, and Cassie is good stuff. It's just really good stuff. You cannot deny that at all. Next on the list is another young team that I love, and that is the Young Avengers. When the Young Avengers came out after the events of Avengers Disassembled, there were a lot of people, a lot of comic fans that were saying the same thing. Oh, this is just Marvel's attempt at doing the Teen Titans. But there were a lot of young teams before the Young Avengers. New Warriors, I'm a big fan of them. They're not my top 10, but if I was doing a top 20, yeah, they'd be there. But when the Young Avengers came along, we see a character called Patriot, a teen Hulk called Hulkling. At the time, a character that looked like a young Asgardian, but he wasn't. He was called the Asgardian. He wasn't called Wiccan yet. Later on we saw a character that looked like a mixture between Hawkeye and Mockingbird, called Hawkingbird, and then of course this character that can, and then an Iron Man like character called Iron Lad, the original team. And we saw this team grow, and then what made it even cooler about the Young Avengers and just the good storytelling, especially of that original run, was the connection each character had with a classic or character from the Marvel Universe. Patriot is the grandson of the original Captain America, the first Captain America, Isaiah Bradley. Iron Lad is actually Kang the Conqueror before he became Kang the Conqueror. I'll just call him Wiccan. Wiccan is actually one of the children Wanda had. Thought she had, but came to fruition. And then, of course, he found his brother, Speed. Hulkling is not a child Hulk. He's not a teenage Hulk. What he is the son of the original Captain Marvel and the Kree princess or queen. He's a hybrid. He's a Kree Skrull hybrid. And, of course, characters like Cassie Sandsmart, she is the daughter of Scott Lang, the second Ant-Man. Kate Bishop is pretty much the most original character out of them. She has no real connection to any of the characters, but she made her own character. She made herself her own, to the point even Hawkeye Clint even said, you know what, you can be, I will grant you that. Because she went through a couple of changes in terms of her name, but Hawkeye granted her the name Hawkeye. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, as much as Teen Titans have a standard and they have their history with characters, Marvel did a beautiful job with the Young Avengers of grafting their origin and their connection to characters till this day. There have been different incarnations of them as well, but to me, my favorite will always be the original team. The original team. We still see some of the members now to this day. Kate Bishop is still around. Hulkling is going to be a part of this. He now leads the Skrull and the Kree. Patriot Eli, he retired because when he thought Cassie died, he was done. He was like, I can't keep watching my friends die. Cassie she now goes under the name Stinger. And she lives in Florida with her near her dad, or her dad is near her. But yeah, man, the Young Avengers is still great. They're just really good, a really good team, and I love them still to this day. Would I want to see them adapted into the MCU? Hell yeah. And we could see that. Hopefully sometime real soon. Next on the list, of course, is the First Family. Fantastic Four. To me, I could never have the FF be very low in a list of teams for me. The First Family. 1961 is the debut of the First Family. Reed Richards, Susan Storm Richards, at the time she was just called Sue Storm, her brother Johnny Storm, and Reed's best friend Benjamin J. Grimm. Why did Stan Lee create this team? Why did Stan Lee and Jack Kirby create this team? Well, Mr. Lee, God rest his soul, has gone on the record to say that it was because of the Justice League. When he heard that DC had made the Justice League, he is like, okay. But what makes the Fantastic Four so good, in my opinion, I think a lot of people forget that, is that they are a family. They're a legit family. The essence of a family. Reed and Sue are married. They got 2 kids now. Johnny is Sue's brother. Reed's brother-in-law. Ben is Reed's best friend. They're semi-like brothers. And they're a family. Reed is Mr. Fantastic. He's the brains. He's one of the smartest individuals in the Marvel Universe. He's elastic. He can stretch. He can do all this. Sue is the Invisible Woman. She can make force fields, and she's very powerful. I think people downplay how powerful Sue really is. Johnny, the Human Torch. He's not the first Human Torch. He's the second Human Torch, and he's still probably my favorite of the group. Still to this day, he's best friends with Spider-Man. I love their friendship, and Benjamin J. Grimm, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, is the humanoid rock man, superhuman strength and durability. People kind of downplay how strong Ben is. Is he as strong as the Hulk? No, but he is a powerhouse, and there are a lot of things that Ben could do that a lot of people forget. If you read or have issue number 350 of the Fantastic Four classic, they go into detail of their power set. Like, really, what more can these characters do that we don't get to see? But Ben he's a good character. He's a lovable guy, and he's a guy you would definitely want to drink a beer with. Like, I know Ben. He's good. And finally, he is married to his love, the love of his life, Alicia Masters. Thank you, Marvel, for finally doing that. He's married. Yeah, Thing is married. Next on the list is the Justice League. Yeah, that seems kind of low, right? Like, whoa, Justice League is low, Chris? Really? I love the Justice League. Don't get me wrong. You know, I love the Justice League or the JLA, whatever you want to call them. There have been a lot of incarnations. I remember DC had several. Justice League of America, Justice League Detroit, Justice League Special Unit, Justice League Dark, of course, Justice League this, Justice League Europe. It was like they went Justice League crazy. But to me, the Justice League is the best of the best to me. This is the elite team of DC heroes that, to me, you have to earn your way on to be a part of. People like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, Zatanna, Green Arrow, characters like that, they've earned their stripes. Did I say the Flash? Yeah, Flash. They're the elite of the elite in DC, and to me, that's how the Justice League should feel. And I forgot Green Lantern. Sorry, Hawkman and Hawkwoman, things like that. They're the elite of the elite. They should be. When you are creating a new Justice League, that's how you should think. Like, okay, the elite of the elite. Any character has to, outside of that, needs to earn their spot. I don't like a team that just shoves a character in it because that character's popular, or it worked in this. So, like, to me, I never liked that Cyborg was a part of the Justice League. I still don't like it. To me, Cyborg will always be eternally part of the Titans, or the Teen Titans, or the Titans in general, not the Justice League. He's a great character, don't get me wrong, but that's just how I feel. To me, I still feel that there is no real true leader of the Justice League, and I think that's a good thing in some ways. I mean, there have been some leaders. I remember Black Canary was the chairwoman of the team. There have been a couple of different leaders, but there's never really been a real consistent leader. And it's somewhat wise. I mean, there are kind of like a lot of egos involved in that as well. I mean, let's be honest. It's true. But I do love Justice League. Love the Justice League. Number 4 on the list is the Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the Avengers. Like what I said about the Justice League, the Avengers are also, to me, the elite of the elite. To me, when I think of the Avengers, I'm thinking of the Trinity, baby. Cap, Thor, Iron Man. That's it. Those three are a must to me have on that team. When you look at the Avengers, what was the founding members? Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Wasp, Ant-Man. Those were the original 5. Cap didn't come to the team until issue number 4, when Stan Lee wrote him back in. But of course, man, when you think of Avengers, you gotta think of Cap. Cap is one of the greatest leaders in comics. There are, even I would say, if I was a comic character in the Marvel Universe, I couldn't even say no to Cap. I'd follow that guy into hell. I'd follow him, like I'd follow by his side. He is such a good leader. But over time, we started to see Marvel really start adding characters to the Avengers that to me it's cool, but then it's like, I don't, like Spider-Man has always been a part-time member. When he became a full-time member, I was like, okay, but Wolverine, when they put Wolverine on the team, to me, it's cool, but the only true X-Men that I feel that really makes up an Avenger is Beast. Beast was a good member, a good person to be a part of the X-Men and the Avengers. I wish Storm would have stayed on the team longer. There are a few X-Men characters that have been X-Men who have been Avengers. Rogue, people like that. But when I think about the Avengers, that's another thing. They're the elite of the elite. And I love the concept of the Avengers. They come together because of they're dealing with threats no one hero can deal with. And I like that approach. That was a really good approach to do the Avengers. Earth's mightiest heroes. And there are a lot of people that love the Avengers. There are a lot of people, comics, and who love the movies and the comics. Then there's a lot of people that, think, well, they're good, but I'm more of a fan of this. And I respect that because I can understand that too. Sometimes Marvel does kind of put that high and mighty on the Avengers, like they can do no wrong. They're always right, and the other teams are not so right. Look at the Avengers, X-Men. They made Marvel at time would make the X-Men the villain in that. I was like, why? And there were times I'm like, yeah, but then there was like, wait a minute. But then it's like, wait a minute, because to me when they did that, it was like they were dealing with the Phoenix. X-Men, you've dealt with the Phoenix how many times? And it's like, but there are times when the Avengers do kind of try to pull that high and mighty stuff, which I don't like. Currently, I love the team now. Jason Aaron's is doing a very good job with the team. But there are a few other teams that I like a lot more than the Avengers. So, and with that being said, moving on to number 3 on the list. And that is none other than the Fab 5 now, I should say. I was going to say foursome, but 5 now. The TMNT, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been a Turtles fan since I was a little boy. And it does my heart so good to see that the Turtles, after 40 years now, I think they're over 40, 84, yeah, 40, they're in their 40s now, still going strong, still delivering, still giving us good storytelling. Recently now, they added a true 5th turtle now, a female, not Venus, but Jenica. And how she came to be was really cool. It's very interesting. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who's never read it. Go check it out for yourself. But I love the concept of the Ninja Turtles. They're not just ninja. They don't just represent New York. Yes, I will say I'm maybe a little biased when it comes to characters that are from New York. Hence, because I'm from New York, it's just how it is. And I love the fact that they're pizza lovers. They're turtles, but they eat pizza. They love pizza. And each character, even though they're ninjas, each one of them has a different personality, which is really cool, which is also a key to a successful team and successful writing. Now, in the beginning of the TMNT, when they were still under Mirage, they were badass. Like, you really put the emphasis of badass with them. Like, they were not jokey as much. They were more serious. That first fight between them and Shredder on the roof was balls to the wall graphic. Like, if they were to do that now, do a adaptation of that first fight from that run, that's gonna be hardcore R. And then later on, when they got so popular and then they got into the cartoons from 87 and up, yeah, things changed, but still the essence of the characters have still stayed the same. Leo is the born leader. Raph is the hothead, at times. Donnie is the brains. Mikey is the... They always classify Mikey as the goofball, but he's got a good heart. I consider Michelangelo, who is my favorite, the heart and soul of the team. To me, there have been many stories written where they have showed like what happens if Mikey was not around, like how the Turtles would be, and it showed like there have been stories where Mikey died and Elseworld stories, and the Turtles took it hard and they changed, and Raph became more gritty and rugged. Leo was this, and Donnie focused so much into his work now, he was almost like an android, So to me, Mikey's not just the clown or the goofball, he's the heart and soul. And the current IDW run now shows that even more, and that's why I love it so much. And what I also love about it, just like the Fantastic Four, they're brothers. They put the emphasis of brotherhood with the Turtles. That is why to this day, and it's actually celebrating its 30th anniversary now, the original movie, still to this day, is the best of the best in movie adaptations of the Turtles. Why? Because of what I just said. They put the emphasis of family point first and point into that run, into that movie. Outside of the ninjutsu and the skills and April and all that other stuff, it was the emphasis of family. That's always been my key and love for the Turtles. Yeah, Leo's got katanas, Raph's got sais, Donnie's got a common bow staff, but he does hell well with it, and Mikey's got the nunchucks. Yeah, cool, but it's that brotherhood that I love more than ever. And that's why Turtles make up number 3 on my list. Shouts out to Pete Lair and Kevin Eastman. Thank you for creating them. Much love and respect. Number 2 on the list of my all-time favorite teams in comics has got to go to the Justice Society of America, the JSA. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I love the JSA more than I love the Justice League. I love the old school vibe of veterans teaching the young lions now, or the older lions teaching the young lions, passing their knowledge on to the next generation. Jeff Johns' run emphasized that completely. But I love the JSA from the original Green Lantern, Alan Scott, the original Flash, Jay Garrett, my man Ted Grant, Wildcat, one of the best boxers in DC. The man taught Batman how to box. Okay? Then of course you got one of my all-time favorite characters of DC, Mr. Terrific, third smartest man. Then of course you got Stargirl and Power Girl and Dr. Midnight, and there's so many different characters that have been a part of the Justice Society of America, and still to this day we have not seen them adapted into the movies yet, but from what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has said, yeah, we're gonna see them in his Black Adam movie. So yeah, we're gonna see them. We have seen different versions of the JSA, in small screen adaptation. Remember Smallville, Absolute Justice, probably one of the best episodes in Smallville in my opinion. And of course, Stargirl, she's getting her own series. So yeah, man, like just JSA to me, I feel is a lot better than the Justice League. That's just me, guys. I feel I can learn. If I was in the DC universe and I'm a new up-and-coming hero, who I'm going to learn from, I'm learning from the JSA over the Justice League. That's just me. No disrespect to them, but I'd rather go with learning from them than people on the league. That's just me. And number one on the list, my number one all-time favorite comic team in comic books goes to none other than, don't need a drum roll because you guys should already have known, the Children of the Atom, the X-Men. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the X-Men was actually the first team that I ever read in comics. It was the X-Men. It wasn't Justice League. It wasn't JSA. It was the X-Men. In terms of comics, yeah. I didn't read the original Mirage comic until I was like 7 or so. Like I first got into Turtles somewhat through the cartoon, but then of course my knowledge, I was like, okay, where did this really come from? And then I found out. But the X-Men was the real, I consider the real mainstream team, superhero team that I remember. And yes, I do consider them superheroes. A lot of times, a lot of writers and all these will consider them freedom fighters. Yes, when they first came out in '63, they represented any demographic that was bullied or persecuted at that time. If you were gay, small, geeky, black, Asian, any ethnicity that was bullied or persecuted by prejudice, you felt like you were a part of the X-Men. And they always were fighting the good fight against and protecting normal humans against threats from their own kind and even beyond that. And it was always that question, like they're protecting the people that hate them. And they kept that emphasis on the X-Men for a long time. Since it's never really gone away. It goes away maybe a little bit, but then it always comes back to that part of the conversation. And I've always had always felt like, why do the people of the Marvel Universe hate the X-Men? Why? Oh, you filthy mutants. It's like, what? Why? Why do you hate them? When you praise characters like the Fantastic Four or the Avengers, these teams got immense powers as well. But you hate the X-Men. It still makes no sense to me at times. I'm like, that's stupid. Like, and if I was in the Marvel Universe as just an ordinary human and I saw the X-Men, I'll be looking at the other people and be like, you guys are morons. Like, what makes them so scary? Why do you hate them? But you love Earth's Mightiest Heroes. You love this. You love that. Do not discredit the mistakes of a few mutants because of the ones that are trying to help. I have always felt that way about the X-Men. Nowadays, the X-Men have gotten a little bit, little high. They're a little on their high horse now. I'm not even gonna lie. You know, Hickman is doing a very good job, but he is also giving a lot of people reason not to like them. And I'm not just talking about readers, but I'm talking about in the concept of the Marvel Universe. People, the fellow heroes are looking at them like, you guys are kind of on your high horse now. You don't care now. It's like, if it doesn't involve preserving mutants or anything like that, it's like, fuck you. Now, like, fuck them. That's it. Look at X-Men Fantastic Four. They're caring more about what's happening to Franklin than Valerie. And it's like, and I love how Sue called them out on that. Like, you guys y'all changed now. They have become segregators. They have segregated themselves from everybody. And that's kind of the thing also that I have never really liked, is that Marvel's always trying to they've kind of made the X-Men always feel like the black sheep of the family. Like, oh, they're here. Something like that. But I love the X-Men. They have had some great stories, just as much or more than the Avengers. Have they gone out in space? Many times. Has there been great dynamics in character development with the characters? Many times. Are there more X-Men than any other team? I think there are. I think there are more X-Men than Avengers or so. I could be wrong. But the one thing I have always loved about the X-Men 2 is the dynamic of representation. Throughout all of the X-Men, if you're black, if you're from a different country, if you're Asian, if you're Native American, if you are from the Middle East, if you're Indian, if you follow different religions like if you're Jewish, if you follow Hinduism, Taoism, Buddhism, there's a character in the X-Men universe for you that is you can relate to. Whether you're black, okay. There's many black characters. The biggest, probably the biggest one is Storm. Storm to this day is still as popular when she came out in 75. Yeah, 75. If you are religious, there's a lot of religious characters. Nightcrawler comes to mind. He looks like a demon, but he's a jokester. He's just as jokey as Bobby. If you're Russian, you got a couple of Russian characters. You're Native American, yeah, you got a couple of Native American X-Men characters or X-Men related characters. You got Jason Proudstar, Warpath, John, his brother. You got Danny Moonstar. You got Forge. You got so many characters. If you are Canadian, and that's not an ethnicity, but that's a nationality, there's a couple of Canadian characters. The biggest and most famous one, Logan. Boom. You're Jewish. You got Kitty. Kitty's Jewish. And she has never denounced that. She keeps that true to herself. She is Jewish. She doesn't have to preach it, but she keeps it. Yes, I'm Jewish. And then you can look at characters. You got Brains on the team, Beast, and there's so many. But Beast does come to mind. If you are somewhat a part of the upper class. Yeah, Angel, Warren Worthington. You can kind of see like, okay, how does the upper class feel about being mutants? And it's also a good dynamic because the X-Men showed us just like how some of us may look at ourselves. Look at Warren. At a time he never wanted. He tried to cut his wings off because he felt like he was a freak. And we go through this every day. Teenagers go through this, like, we're not pretty enough, or we're not this enough, we're not that. The X-Men showcase that. And you got the newer generation. There's newer generation of X-Men that give that new generation of X-Men fans, I can relate to what she's going through or he's going through. You got somebody from my generation, me, being a child of the 80s, you got a couple of characters and you look at them and like, okay, I get it. But representation matters with the X-Men. And the only thing I don't like about what's going on now with them is like they have segregated themselves. They are feeling like they should only give back to their fellow mutants and don't give back to anybody else. If you're not a mutant, screw you. But what I don't like about them now is that they're giving second, third, fourth chances to some of their worst enemies, and it's like, wait, you're letting Apocalypse be a part? Are you crazy? Like, it just like, if you're a mutant, you're good. Don't worry about it. Sabretooth, Mystique, people. I'm like, oh no, like they'll never change. They'll never change. Mystique is about one person, well, two, me and her lover, Destiny. And that's the other thing. If you're gay, there are the X-Men characters too. North Star. Um, North Star comes to mind. Damn her name on the New Mutants. I'm forgetting her name right now. I don't want to butcher the name, but there's just so much about the X-Men I love. Cannot wait to see what the MCU does with the X-Men, the Children of the Atom, that Fox never got right or just tried to do. Well, guys, so that's my list of my top favorite themes in comics. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, section down. What's your top 10? Are some of them as favorite as mine? Tell me if you like my list. Okay. But other than that, take care. Stay positive. Next time on the Opinion Stop, where